Hey Neppers, it's me, Wild Neptune. Quick video here about the notes on the new Awakening update that they're going to do in a couple of days, it seems like. So, if you're unaware, Smilegate has heard the cries of the community and decided to tone things back a little bit. So, there are three main points here. I just want to go down quickly and give my thoughts about it. The first one is for new heroes. It says that they're going to basically focus on old heroes and not new heroes. They do not say verbatim that they are not doing it for new heroes, and if I had to guess, they might do it for new limited heroes, and that is have the awakened potential available when they get released, but not on other ones. Another important thing it says too is regardless of starting grade, and I don't really know what this means because I thought this was only for 5 stars, or at least that was my impression, but maybe it's not. Maybe 3 and 4 stars might get this too, we will have to see. They did say that they want to do for like all heroes, and again, I thought this meant only all 5-star heroes. We'll have to see how that goes, because they also said they want to specially change all 3 stars, but I'm pretty sure they've released more new 3 stars than they've done specialty changes in the past couple of years, so good luck with that, Smilegate. The second one here is going to be on the growth range of awakened potential, and people were concerned about the stat increases, especially for the imprint system that this was going to have, and they are going to look at it and reevaluate the changes for the bonus stats, including Crow. Now, do I think they're going to get rid of the awakening thing? The imprint thing? No. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. I wish it would happen. I don't like the imprint thing and the way that they're using it here, because yes, it is very whale friendly. In my previous video on this, I said that I would not be happy with it, but if it stayed at the power level it was at, I'd be okay with it. It's just that, do I trust, or should we trust Smilegate in keeping it at that power level? No, we should not, and we just don't. And that's really the problem. Not even that they would use it maliciously, but like they could just like mess up and make it so that maybe a hero down the line just has an imprint that is too strong, and because they don't nerf anything, they can't change it. And that is a major hindrance. Now, I understand too that some players just don't want this new power increase to happen at all, and I think that's a little bit more unreasonable actually. I actually am of the mind that the game needed a way to have some sort of content that players could do to increase their power outside of gear. Like, let's be honest here, people don't like the gaming system, but the gaming system isn't going to change, right? But I see players like, oh, I crafted 20,000 mats and I got nothing. And that feeling gets even more and more prevalent the better and better your gear actually gets. Like for me, before I started doing Rift, I farmed, my hunts and stuff like that. I could go like, again, like 25, 30,000 mats and get like one piece of gear that was like usable. Not even like an upgrade, right? Just a piece of gear that, okay, maybe I can make it like another character to be okay. But it wasn't like changing the way I played the game or like my account and stuff like that. It's just like one piece of gear. And something like this where is a universal power scaling that you can just farm and do and your heroes are stronger, I think is okay. I think that's actually pretty good. Now, what I would have done is I kind of wish they had more heroes to have this at the same time, like 20 of them, and maybe kind of tone back the time gating on this. I understand why it's time gated the way it is, but I do think that once a month is kind of ridiculous overall. But I don't really know what they could do about this. If you guys have any ideas on how they could keep this power increase for the game, right, and make it so that it is, reasonable overall, I'd be happy to hear suggestions in the comments down below. After that, though, we have directions of improvements heading forward. So basically, they're looking at things like hero growth, the imprint system, like having more access to memory shards and stuff like that, and also a way for like more feedback when things like this happen beforehand. Now, one of the big things I think here is that they announced this, and it was like releasing in like 4 or 5 days, which I thought was kind of ridiculous, right? It's one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, that is pretty soon, actually. And people are surprised about this, right? I don't know why, because Smilegate does stuff like this all the time. They have a history, at least in Epic 7, of releasing things in absolutely broken, bonkers, awful states, and then they roll it back a little bit later. So this, Pet Snacks, the Lethe Sulika imprint thing, like, remember, like, old Auto Tower, other things too. Even when, like, they had, like, 13 hunts, people were, like, really annoyed at getting I-90 gear, and then also other things too. Like, they wanted, like, accessories to be crafted. They wanted, like, no, blue gear and stuff like that. And those are all things that eventually happened, but only after there was a lot of backlash happening. Like, also, people don't remember this either, but right side pieces used to have stat ranges on them. So you can get like between like 10 and 12%, something like that, like say attack, or between like 3 and like 5 base speed on the boots, right? And they changed that for that they will always have the highest values. But originally, they were not going to change old gear. So you had to like reform new pieces. And people were livid about that. Like, I think that was one of the first instances of the community being very, very upset. At least that I could think about. And my theory, now, this is just like conspiracy theory, I don't know if it's true or not, is that they do these things like this on purpose, so that they can gauge the response of the community and then roll it back just enough to satiate and make us think that we have made a big difference, when in reality, they were always going to do like the middle ground anyway, or at least that was like their intention. Of course, if there was no backlash, they would just release it as they posted it before, but because I think they expected to happen, and because it does, that they have these changes in mind like already. So I actually think that they had potential like changes and amendments to this already available even before the backlash happened, and that's why they can release something like this so quickly. Because I'll be honest here, it probably does take some time for changes like this or for responses like this to go through the pipeline and everything, and the fact that this came out so quickly, you know, like conspiracy theories aside, might lean in that direction. So we'll have to see about that. So that's really all I have for this video. Again, if you guys have any suggestions on what Smilegate can do, I appreciate if you leave it in the comments below. Again, I kind of want things that keep this system in place, but edit it in some way to make it more reasonable. And you know, again, Smilegate is a business and they do have to make some money, but maybe this is not the best way that they could do it. So, Wild Neptune, it's been a good one. Nep out.